This week, South Africa observed International Fraud Awareness Week. Fraud Week, observed from the 12th to the 17th of November, is a global effort to minimize the impact of fraud by promoting anti-fraud awareness and education. Now, with South Africa ranked the 5th highest in global crime density list, finding a solution to prevent cyber vulnerabilities and growing cyber security skills in South Africa has become more significant than ever. So to take this discussion further, we're going to be joined via video link by Dr. Laura Fisher, Head of Institutional Advancement at Boston City Campus. Dr. Laura, good afternoon, and thank you for your time with us here on the SABC.
Good afternoon to you.
At this point, perhaps you could speak to International Fraud Awareness Week, the extent of cyber fraud in South Africa, the reality on the ground.
I think it's amazing. International Fraud Awareness Week as an annual campaign has been now going for many years, since 2000. And it's got activities and events held in 125 countries. And this idea of promoting international fraud awareness is more and more critical. You know, the extent of cyber crime and fraud in South Africa is quite difficult to measure because many cases go unreported. However, it is estimated to cost our economy an inordinate amount of money, somewhere around 932 billion over the next 5 years. So this is a significant increase, and it is increasing primarily because the digital age has led businesses to becoming increasingly dependent on technology and interconnected networks to enhance operational efficiency and drive productivity and widen their reach.
Well, Dr. Laura, on the back of that, and thank you for that context, I mean, we're looking at ways to fight the growing risk of cyber fraud in South Africa, and perhaps we could speak to the skill set that is needed at this point. Is there a shortage of cybercrime specialists in South Africa? Help us paint that picture.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely is a massive shortage of cybercrime specialists in South Africa. And I think this just speaks to a number of different kind of challenges that we face in our country. The need to encourage STEM education and create specialized training programs is more pressing than ever before. The need to continue to increase awareness about cybersecurity and the demand for cybercrime specialists to help fill the skills gap is also really important. And, you know, ongoing education and training is needed to keep professionals updated on the constantly evolving field of cybercrime. It is so rampant, and it expands over so many different domains that, you know, even to keep as a professional yourself up to date, you know, you need to be in continuous education and training. For example, you know, places like CompTIA offer courses to help professionals stay relevant and up to date with the necessary skills and knowledge to pursue, firstly, understanding the basics of the IT industry, and then building on that to really build a skill set that is very, very niche and is highly valued in the IT industry, especially in training and support for developing cybercrime specialists. So, I mean, there's steps that can be taken to qualifying as a cybersecurity specialist, but this is quite an extensive process. Somewhere like Boston City Campus and other providers offer these CompTIA certifications, which really can help to keep professionals updated. But there's no like one entry point at which you can say, okay, I'm going to do one quick course and become a cybercrime specialist. This is a very, very complex, you know, a very complex field.
Well, you're speaking about ongoing or continuous education and training, developing skills, looking at the courses that is necessary to empower, you know, ourselves with the necessary information and skills. I wonder at this point if we could also, you know, look at, because we're looking at International Fraud Awareness Week, if you could give us an overview perhaps of the types of crimes that people are dealing with in this day and age. What's coming to the fore?
I mean, it's just, I'm actually having a bit of a chuckle because I myself fell prey to one of these crimes very recently. And, you know, former Thuli Madonsela has spoken about falling prey to it. You know, DA members have fallen prey to it. You know, no one is really kind of shielded from the types of crimes, phishing scams, the type of fraud where scammers send emails or text messages impersonating a trusted individual or organization, tricking people into giving out personal information. That's one. Malware attacks. Malware, short for malicious software, is a type of cybersecurity threat that can gain access to your device or network and cause harm. So this includes viruses and ransomware and spyware. There's identity theft, which we all know, hacking, data breaches, online scams. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Social engineering, cyberbullying, online harassment. These are all types of cybersecurity threats that involve using technology to harass, threaten, and intimidate individuals, and can have serious consequences on individuals' mental health and well-being.
No, absolutely. And whilst we're looking at measures to safeguard against some of these threats that you've alluded to, what happens if someone is a victim of online fraud, identity theft, some of them, what you've alluded to now? I mean, are they empowered enough to know how to go about that in terms of the law and avenues to report and recoup what's been lost?
I think this is one of the real difficulties that we have in South Africa. I think the public aren't empowered to know what to do. You know, the growing internet and technology usage has rapidly grown the internet market, but there are certainly a lack of cybersecurity measures, and there's actually a lack of cybercrime legislation within South Africa. So it is actually quite difficult to prosecute and deter cyber criminals. You know, with our high levels of unemployment and our high levels of lack of awareness and education, many individuals and businesses in South Africa are not aware of actually the risks and techniques used by cyber criminals, which makes them vulnerable to attacks. But then also you don't know what to do. So the scammer can target anyone. And once you've been targeted, and they realize that you are a soft target, you are vulnerable to being targeted again. So I think we have to be hypervigilant. We have to report it and speak out. We have to involve the police. We have to really speak out about what is going on in terms of breach of our own cybersecurity. And this is, you know, it's very, very worrying when we start to keep quiet. And I think there's often an embarrassment around, you know, how on earth did you fall prey to this? But the onus falls on every individual to make sure that their defenses are always at their strongest and that they speak out when they are a victim of cyber security attacks.
No, absolutely. Let me conclude this conversation, perhaps also look at the role of minors and children and the issues that also come to the fore on that front as we conclude.
Yeah, I mean, the issue for minors and children is that minors and children obviously need to be extremely cautious when engaging in the digital world. And I think there is an increasing awareness of digital literacy, but certainly minors and those responsible for minors need to really, really safeguard their children. We need to safeguard our scholars. We need to safeguard our students because they are vulnerable, and we need to protect them, and we need to protect them from, we need to mitigate their risks. We need to ensure that there's protection, that there's cost saving through the prevention of cyber attacks, and that there's improved security measures through gap identification to strengthen threat detection, particularly when really safeguarding the minors in South Africa.
Dr. Laura Fisher, thank you for your time with us on the SABC and for